Hi friends, I'm on camera today. This is not a painting demo. I just want to talk a little bit about creating a painting. What it takes to get from here to a finished painting. I've heard people say it's magical. It is almost magical, you know. If you're a collector of art and you don't paint, and maybe you're watching this video, you need to consider this is how we start. I mean, it's amazing. So many steps, and don't you love it? You might tone the canvas like I do, you might not. You might start on a white canvas. First thing is, what are you going to paint? Which I have had a lot of people say to me, I don't know what to paint. I don't seem to have that problem, because if you know me, I can get excited about painting a banana even. There's lots of options. First, there are many sites that offer photos that photographers put up, and they offer them free to the artist, copyright free. Usually you just have to tag the photographer in the painting when you share it. So that's an option. I'm so sorry. That's an option. Or your own photos, which is my preference. I think you have more of a connection with them if you took the photo. Maybe you're outside and you set up your composition in the photo, which I've gotten a lot better about, and you take the photo. I just think you have more of a connection to it. Of course you can crop it. Of course, I always do that. When I bring up a photo, they aren't always ready to go. You've got to crop them, of course, to fit your format, or you know, it's your painting. You might actually move things around. You can paint from life, which would be, of course, a still life, where you spend your time setting up your objects. It might be objects you love and have a connection with. Great fun. You might get the opportunity to paint a model. And of course, there's plein air, which is, I always say, it adds a whole nother element to painting. As difficult as painting is, you know, you're out there in this vast landscape, choosing a little piece of it. So that's very challenging. I had to learn how to do that. My view catcher is very helpful for that. So, because it's very challenging to look around and pick your composition. Of course, bugs and heat and cold. Wind to me is the most annoying thing. Wind. It can, I said, when you're out there painting, it's like somebody's just pushing on you. You know, whether it's hot out or it's cold out, it's the wind. By the way, I'm just back from a plein air trip. If you follow me, I was in Aurora, Indiana, and Lawrenceburg this week, and I brought home 3 finished paintings. I'll show you at the end. It was cold. It was cold, but saying that, if conditions are right, I mean, I love it. I love plein air. And anyway, that's another option, to decide first, what do you want? And you want to choose something that you're excited about. And that, I will say, that's one thing about plein air, a disadvantage. When I haven't chosen the location and I have a schedule with my group and I show up, sometimes there's just really nothing that excites you, and that's sad. And you're there to paint, so you choose something, and I find that my paintings aren't as good if I'm not excited about the subject. So of course you want to choose something that you're excited to paint. And then all the steps to get it to a finished painting. The things that make it a good painting. Composition. To me, that's probably number one. If you get it sketched on there and you step back and the composition isn't good, don't paint it. Wipe it off and start over. I've gotten a lot better about that over the years too. You know, good drawing skills. And drawing, in my opinion, can be, you might take a pencil and sketch it in, you might do charcoal. I usually just take, you know, thin paint. Painting is drawing too, in my opinion. I used to spend more time during the painting process getting things correct. I did less of a sketch. Now I think the way I do it is better. I spend a lot more time on the sketch, and I even do a value sketch. I get my darks in there. So before I start laying paint, I hopefully have everything where I want it and drawn on correct. So then what I'm doing is I'm just laying paint. And again, I didn't always paint that way. I used to spend too much time. I would get it right in the end usually, but a lot of times changing with paint. And the disadvantage is, of course, sometimes you end up with muddy colors. It's just not as enjoyable either. I feel like you're struggling more. Where if you just slow down and spend more time on that sketch, then I think you can enjoy the painting process a lot more. For myself, I've really made an effort over the last year to lay down clean color and not stroke it. So that's something I'm always telling myself. And I even like, because I tone them with a color, I even like dry brushing, where you drag the brush across the canvas and you see pieces of that tone peeking through, dry brushing. I even like when I see that in a painting. I mean, painting is about mark making. We all paint different. You know, some people paint very thin and very smooth. Some people like to see the paint. I mean, we all like different things. I mean, the art world's very interesting. But anyway, you want to get a good composition and the drawing, color mixing. You're thinking about color mixing, and sometimes it doesn't really come together until the very end when you do those, final touches, maybe highlights or, and it can be hard to keep going sometimes even, to keep pushing yourself forward. You think it, I have a little thing that I made up and gave to my group years ago, and it's the stages of painting. You're excited about it, and then at one point it says, "It looks like crap, you're crap." I think I made a little video like that. But people say it has an ugly stage. And sometimes they're not salvageable. Sometimes you get all the way through and, you get back and look at them and you just wipe them off, and that's okay. It doesn't bother me to do that. You just let it go. But if it goes well and all those things come together and you get to the end, you need to pat yourself on the back. I mean, that's a major accomplishment in my opinion. Again, it's so hard. Painting's hard. Occasionally you have those painting thing, you paint something and it just feels like it's effortless. Oh, it's fabulous when that happens, and it's easy and things go right. But it's just so challenging, and I love it, and I always say that. I think the challenge keeps us coming back to it. You never, I don't know anybody that ever masters it to the point where every painting they do turns out. It just doesn't happen. Even artists that are, considered really, really good, they're still wiping off canvases, and if you're not, if you think everything you do is good, it probably really isn't. But again, pat yourself on the back. I've been out painting where people come by and say, "Oh, look at you, you're having fun." Well, I am having fun. But, our little minds are thinking, aren't they, about everything we're doing, so much to it. And you want to be there. You don't want to mindlessly paint. You don't want to just get paint on your brush and stick it on there without thinking, of course, then again, you're creating mud or you're screwing up your drawing, but don't give up. Again, if you don't know what to paint, find something simple even. Like say, look around your kitchen. Jars are great fun. Bananas, but there's always something to paint. That's how I feel. And that's one advantage of, going out of your studio and going out. You get excited about things. Anyway, just throwing that out there. This week I did go to Aurora, Indiana and Lawrenceburg, Indiana, which are very close together. We went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It was cold. Windy. windy. Again, that to me is the most annoying thing. So we started out in Lawrenceburg the first day. I'll show you what I did there. And again, I'm not sure that any of these are 100% done. They were all done. This was the first day. This is some cute little bar in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And I painted this in the car. Everybody in the group went to Lawrenceburg and then they went on to Aurora, and I was already set up. I found a parking lot directly across the street from this place, and I'm pretty good in my car. So I showed up at lunchtime and they're like, "We wonder where you were." It's like, you told me to go to Lawrenceburg. I went to Lawrenceburg and painted. But interesting place, isn't it? Black and red and the tower on the top. So that was day, let's see, day one. Oh, and the second day, I started one. I went into the a lot of people were out all day, believe it or not. And I started one and I wiped it off. I'm okay to do that. I was getting tired and, you know, I just wasn't feeling it. So, and then the second day we had a wonderful opportunity. We went up to, gosh, I should have wrote down the name of it. It's in Aurora. It is a mansion basically, and they rent it out for weddings and stuff. And it's on top of a hill with river views. Just beautiful, just beautiful. Huge old house. The original part of the house is a couple hundred years old. And this gentleman opened up the house for us and turned on the water, so we had a bathroom. House is full of antiques, and he left us there. Pretty cool. So there's also this really cute detached garage, which is what I painted. I'll show you. But windy, cold, people, there was some sunshine that day, which was, for me, it's a different scene completely if the sun is out. I just love the sun being out. So everybody was outside except one gal who was inside painting like a sideboard and a glass dish, and I was talking, and it wasn't warm in the house either, but it was better. And she was saying, "I'm just surprised more people aren't in here." So I did the one painting, which I'll show you here. This is a, again, I guess it's a garage, but it had antique buggies in the front there. See the big wheels? And I have to work on this one some more. The green in the roof is too close to the green in the grass. So, but that was out. Keep in mind, I was freezing. So we came in for lunch, and I looked around the house. There was just wonderful vignettes everywhere in the house. Again, it was full of antiques. And so the gal that was in there painting, no one else came in. She shifted to another room, and I picked out I painted inside for the second painting. Let me show you. And this was really fun. It was, see, chairs, a table. Everywhere you look, there was just these sweet vignettes, you know, with the old antique furniture. And I did get, I got a lot of reference photos too. I like paintings of interiors, even though I don't do a lot of them. And it was very fun because there was a lot of negative painting, like between the chairs and around the mirror, and, you know, but I spent a lot of time again on the drawing. With paint. I sketched it on with thin wet paint, and then I came back in and developed it some more. So that's one lesson I have learned, is to slow down and put more of my time into the sketch. You know, I might not have done that. Years ago, I probably wouldn't have. I don't know. But I think I had more failed paintings back then. I feel like I'm a lot more successful now putting that time into the drawing. And then I did, let's see, I guess that's the only 3 I brought home. And yesterday, I had hopes for getting better and better, and yesterday wasn't good either. So I started one and it didn't get very far. So, but it was great fun. So again, get to painting. Like I said, it's almost kind of magical. I've done competitions where I compete against photographers, and I shouldn't do those because to me they're apples and oranges. A lot of times we start with a photograph, you know, we have the idea, we take the photo, you know, we had a photo in the beginning, but a lot of people do that. A lot of galleries and stuff, they have these competitions, and again, you're competing against photographers. And I shouldn't enter those because I complain when I do. Because again, I may have started with a photo, and that's what you're entering, and look what I have done to get to where I am, right? So, excuse me. So, all right, just a quickie little video. I'll get on here and paint. I know it's been a little while, just very busy. So, all right, hope you're enjoying the fall. The colors there in Ohio are pretty much prime, I think. It's really beautiful. Okay, I'll catch you soon.